Rise, Meg.
The Force will be with you.
Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we're going to be talking about the future of The Mandalorian, what Lucasfilm wants to do next. We'll also be talking about the return of a big Rebels character, and we'll also be discussing the potential of a Star Wars Episode 10 at some point in the not so near future. As always my friends, before I dive into the news, please may I ask you to hit like down below, hit that big red subscribe button, and also be sure to give the notification bell a good old tickle to be alerted each and every time I post new content to the channel. So as I say, without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. So we begin by talking about Hera Syndulla because she is going to replace Cara Dune in the upcoming show Rangers of the New Republic. LRM is the one with this information, and they state that a source at Lucasfilm has told them that creatives are looking to bring the character from Rebels into live action, and they figured that she would be the perfect replacement for Cara Dune in the show. We don't know anything else at this point, but what do you guys think of her replacing Cara Dune for the upcoming series? There have been talks about Hera Syndulla as well as Jacen Syndulla coming into live action all the way back since The Mandalorian Season 2 started. Bear in mind that pre-production has not even begun yet and we're very far away from the show dropping. This is just a rumour at this stage, so take everything with a pinch of salt. And with that in mind, let's move on to our next article. So in the wake of the so-called big controversy, it seems as though Lucasfilm are doubling down on the amount of female leads. This report, or rather rumour, states that the Mandalorian Universe will have a lot of strong females. Now before diving into this article, I just want to say flat out, as a Star Wars fan who fell in love with the films and the stories simply because they were amazing space opera iterations and interpretations of mythology, I really don't care about the gender of characters as long as the story is good. So with them doubling down on strong female leads, I don't want it to be a thing of they're just placing them there for what you might call meaningless representation. Have them be good characters, whether they're female or male. I mean, of course strong female leads are a phenomenal thing in a sci-fi franchise, and I think this was done best in the Alien franchise. And you know what, Star Wars has always been full of very strong female characters, but the reason they were great is because they were very well written characters in and of themselves. It had nothing to do with their gender. So ultimately, for me at least, this rumour is absolutely meaningless, unless of course these characters have depth to them and, you know, they add something to the show. As you guys know, I fully trust Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, and I'm sure they're going to do a phenomenal job no matter who they bring in. Season 2 of Mando really set a high bar, so we can expect some really great things to come. So let's now take a look at what the article says. Most blockbuster action franchises have never been renowned for possessing too many strong leads, especially when it comes to big budget spectacle driven movies. Star Wars has tended to operate on the model of having one prominent recurring female character per trilogy, with the rest acting as either background or supporting players. Of course, it started with Carrie Fisher's Princess Leia Organa, which was then followed by Natalie Portman's Padme, and then Daisy Ridley's Rey Skywalker, or Rey Palpatine, or whatever you want to call her. And if you count the anthology experiment as its own separate arm of Star Wars, Felicity Jones's Jyn Erso as well. Ironically, the closest thing The Mandalorian had to a female lead has now been fired, something that will no doubt be rectified for Season 3 in some way, shape or form, probably by bringing in another female lead. Just to divert a minute, I think you could argue that Bo-Katan was also a female lead in The Mandalorian Season 2, and so was Fennec Shand for an episode or two. But now new reports are stating that the Mandoverse will focus on strong female leads, much less than the big screen productions did. And when they refer to the Mandalorian Universe, they're talking about the Book of Boba Fett, Star Wars Ahsoka, and Rangers of the New Republic. And as I say, I'll be very happy about this if those characters are ones that contribute something to the show in a meaningful way. Otherwise, it's a wasted opportunity where they're just being used for props. If you ask me, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau did a phenomenal job with both male and female leads for The Mandalorian so far. In particular, I loved Koska Reeves, although it'd be really great if she had more of a role in Season 3. Of course, the Armourer from Season 1, it'd be awesome if she returned. Ming-Na Wen's Fennec Shand is on point, as well as Bo-Katan Kryze, portrayed by Katie Sackhoff. So if the new female characters that they're going to introduce can meet that standard, then I'm very happy about this rumour. As always guys, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. So next we're going to be talking about how Lucasfilm want more original characters in future Star Wars films. Now at first glance you're probably thinking that this is very obvious, but it really signifies, especially to us Star Wars fans, the start of a new era. Because when George Lucas sold Lucasfilm to Disney, Disney had the responsibility of doing the sequels and the spin-offs, and it wasn't really their original project, at least under their new management. Now, even though they completely rejected George Lucas's vision for the sequel trilogy and threw away the template, they did vaguely stick to what he wanted. They kept the same characters, built new characters around those original characters, and basically we got the trilogy that we got, as well as the 2 spin-off films. But now that the Skywalker Saga is well and truly over, aside from the Mandalorian Universe, when it comes to big screen films and the future of Lucasfilm, they basically have whatever creative freedom they want. They've already demonstrated this with the High Republic, but when it comes to future films, they basically want to steer clear from the Skywalker Saga at all costs, introducing new ideas, new concepts, and of course original characters, truly original characters with no tie-ins to the Skywalker Saga. As we know, Patty Jenkins is working on Rogue Squadron, but we also have a film in 2025 and then 2027, and we don't really know what those are going to be about, but we expect one of them to be from Taika Waititi and the other from Kevin Feige. So what I'm saying is that the next time we go to see a Star Wars film, you know, when the pandemic's over and when we can finally go back to cinemas again, it's going to be a completely different experience when seeing a Star Wars movie. It's not going to be like anything we've seen before. Yes, there are going to be lightsabers and the Force is going to still be a thing, but other than that, it's going to be new faces, new ideas, new characters, new planets. In a way, it's a bit nerve-wracking, but at the same time, it's really exciting. And with all of that in mind, let's move on to our final article. So I've spoken about this quite a bit on my channel over the past few weeks, and I'm talking about what happens after the rise of Skywalker. So this is a great article which talks about why Star Wars Episode 10 should still happen despite the sequels. So if you guys have tuned in over the last few videos, you know where I stand on this, and where I stand is that regardless of what you thought of Rey during the sequel trilogy, I think her future beyond Episode 9 could truly be where the character develops properly and has a really powerful story arc that is truly fascinating. I think a lot of people who hated the sequels don't give enough credit to how Rey's character in the future, at least a mature Rey, is a wondrous and exciting prospect. So let me highlight the part of the article which is good. Star Wars concluded the Skywalker Saga with the sequel trilogy, but the franchise can and should move forward with a new episode despite the problems of the last 3 movies. The Star Wars sequel trilogy is often criticised for its lack of cohesiveness, as it dropped many plot threads that it set up and introduced new ones without any prefacing. A potential Star Wars Episode 10 could improve upon those missteps and even continue stories from the sequel trilogy that did not get their proper due. While Star Wars is focusing on other things right now, including the Mandalorian Universe as well as other spin-off series, Lucasfilm should not discount the possibility of returning to Rey's story arc beyond Episode 9 in the future. And I 100% agree with this. I also stated the other day that I think Rey would be absolutely epic, just as we saw briefly in a vision that she had in The Rise of Skywalker. A very good story arc would be that Palpatine still lives within her and she did eventually turn to the dark side. So as I say, whether you discount the sequels or not, I think this is a really good opportunity, at least for the distant future. I don't think it's going to happen anytime within the next 5 or even 10 years. So my dear friends, that is all of the news I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and also please head over to my Patreon page, where for just $2 or $10 a month you get exclusive access to content that's not found here on YouTube. I'm Star Wars Meg, wishing you all a phenomenal rest of the day, no matter where you dwell in the galaxy. Have a good one.